Okay, so this is the first episode of the Spoiled Girly Support Group Office Hours. We are here to discuss meta topics that have come from a higher level lecture series that I feel like some of us are participating in, but I need for this to be an interactive experience. So please duplicate this toolkit, we'll say, and follow. So first, watch the course. So this episode is "You don't need a rich man, you need a generous man," and make a response video to a piece of the video which conceptually doesn't make sense. And feel free to tag me, make a comment or something. I would love to comment on it, on your response. I don't care how small your channel is, just at me. Anyway, um, where was I going with this? So I would like to talk about yellow flags and proceed with caution because I don't feel like we talk about that enough. So I guess the red flags are you don't actually need to proceed, stop and run away. This is a red flag. This person is definitely not good for you. But let's talk about yellow flags for a minute. And so Manifest Ill is actually making the point that men without fathers are yellow flags. And so in this particular case, sorry, I'm trying to fix the mic. Sometimes it just goes out. Did it come back on? No. There we go. We're back on. Okay. So, men without fathers are yellow flags because they have seen their mothers go above and beyond and work extremely hard, harder than they need to, because they are making up for a fatherless situation. So they're doing, it's one woman who's doing the work of a man and a woman and taking on 100% of the financial responsibility. And that behavior has been normalized in the home for that male. So he doesn't actually know, in terms of his own real life, what it looks like for there to be a partnership, which hopefully you would want to create with this man. And then also for him to understand, like, what it means for women to be able to sit in like a feminine space because his mother didn't do that. Um Now this is interesting because how do you proceed with caution in this case? I definitely don't want to start the conversation saying never date men who don't have both parents. But I think a pragmatic response, especially for members, if you're past lecture 3 in this support group and you're interested in participating in office hours here, I would say don't date men without both parents. In your personal situation, it doesn't matter, like if you had both parents or not. If you found the Spoiled Girly Support Group, this is actually all the information that you need. It doesn't really matter what happened yesterday or last year or whenever before you found this. Stop now. Stop now. Now, another lesson I think is like a key point that we need to like be aware of is this idea that like dating and how rare it kind of should be. Like you do need to date yourself. Like that you can't not go out into society. Like this is why like having a job is important, having an apartment is important. If you live with your parents, whatever, you need to have your own money and like pay a bill, something. Like you got to do something in the world. So even if going to college or getting an academic something is a hobby, do something because you do need to be out in the world amongst other people who are like contributing socioeconomically to the society. That's important because you're a member of the society. Now, as you just spend more time in the world around, you're going to have male coworkers. So you can see like how the male coworkers talk to each other. You will hear conversations about the male coworkers talk about their partners or their lack of partners or their dating situations. This doesn't have to be your dating situation. You could just it's you seeing men who have something financially going on for themselves and just you kind of normalizing what that looks like. The reason that that is important is you can quite easily eliminate red flags in people, like anyone who doesn't have a job, okay, and who isn't even talking like those men who you work with. Obviously, you can't date them because like they're not even a part of the real world yet. Now, those are the red flag men, but the yellow flag men, you probably work with these men, right? And they're accustomed. They're trying to wave. I really like the point about the men waving the feminist flags, because they like to have these feminist talking points so that they're like empathizing, because that's the thing. Like this, in this case, with there's a guy, he earns almost $1 million a year and is skeptical of his wife staying at home because she might get lazy if she doesn't go to work. Now, these men are, they've normalized the spoiled girlies in real life. Like those of us who have the apartments and the jobs and have always been working, like we don't really get like the handouts that the Dubai baddies are getting. Like those women are getting flown now. They've got the OnlyFans and stuff, and people are laughing at those women, but they're not paying for anything. Those are like the girls living the city girl life. They are actually living that life. So you can laugh about them being like sex workers or whatever. The point being, like, they have commoditized their sexuality for a bag, and they have the bag. The key point here is the bag. And also, we haven't talked anything about pretty anything, a hierarchy of beauty, nothing. And I constantly talk about beauty on this channel. This isn't the point, because we're simply talking about men. We're talking about men. And the thing about men, a lot of men like beautiful women, but a lot of men like ugly women too, for a lot of different reasons. Men can get a lot out of ugly women. It's almost like when you go to the grocery store, instead of buying a bag of like hot chips by Cheetos, the brand Cheetos, which you're familiar with, what if you just get the off brand that are like hot chips or something? They're red and they're made in Mexico. They're probably like $3 cheaper, okay, but the taste might be similar if you're not that picky. That's what it's like for men to date ugly women, and they do it all the time. They are like settled up and cozied up with them, getting all the benefits of being with a woman without the price tag, right? Because like uglier chicks have lower standards. I just think it's important for women in general to like even the baseline. Like you gotta even the keel to like start talking about being rational for a second about a lot of things. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter where you fall on the beauty spectrum. To some men it does. But what needs to matter to you personally is like how to identify things that you can tolerate and things that you cannot. And I think it's really important to start setting a serious baseline that like most people you won't be able to tolerate. Like men have to work to get access to you. They just have to, because like all they're there for is to take things from you. And trust me, once they take all your shit, you don't have like, it takes a long time to like refill your cup, because they will take anything and everything that they can take until you're sitting there with nothing, and they have like gone on into the world to take more shit from another woman. Close the door. Date yourself and understand that these yellow flag men are out there, and they have unrealistic expectations of most women because they have not normalized behavior of stable women in the developed world. They haven't seen this behavior. They don't know what it is. They don't. That's why we have to have the group. That's why we have to have the office hours. That's actually all I have to say for this episode.